But yeah,
What
episode 134.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Welcome back. WHOADIE's back with us. How you doing, bud?
Hey, what's going on, man? How y'all doing?
Not much. Good. You are. What is your handle nowadays? You change it like every other week.
Oh, it's Dusty Wolves. Oh, I don't change it. I get eliminated.
That's a good. That's what I meant. Yeah.
For no reason.
Oh,
For no
my
reason. The last time I said the S word, shit, and that's why they took my account. So yeah. So,
You said that in relation to EA Sports, right?
yes. Terrible company.
Terrible company. Yeah. Like I'm fine going on the record saying that.
If you've been voted worst company in America twice, you're probably a terrible company.
You probably are rightfully terrible.
Probably.
Company. What were you talking about? Like Madden or 2K? Or not 2K? Must have been Madden, right? Does EA do 2K?
They do. No, right? They don't do 2K. It wasn't Madden. It was, I think it was either Battlefield. It was Battlefield.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha. It was Battlefield. I knew they were going to ruin it again, and they're going to ruin it again. Because the last good Battlefield was 2014.
Yeah.
Which is Battlefield 4, which is when the PlayStation 4 came out. So we're that far away from a good Battlefield is when the last gen just was released.
Yes, for sure. Are you a PS5 owner?
No.
Record?
No.
Okay.
I don't do strange things for PS5s. No, I can't find one. And to be honest, I'm not going to look for one because it's tough out there, man. It's tough.
It still is. Like, I don't get it.
It's still tough.
Like, do they just not make them
that.
to keep up with like demand? Like, wouldn't they want to sell more of them?
It's the chip, whatever chip they use, like a graphic chip. With this graphic chip, I retweeted an article before. I thought one of y'all. I thought so.
Probably. I don't know what I read on the internet, but yeah,
it's the same kind of chip that goes into cars. So cars get the first demand. They get the first jump at these cards.
Yeah.
And these cards also go for graphic cards for computers. So you see everybody complain at the same time. But of course, the car companies, they get the first grab at these same little computer chips that's only made out of China. And it was, of course, China was shut down for a long time. And that factory is going in and out. So it's going in and out of production.
It's really weird you mentioned that because I got my latest car like a few months ago, and it was like during that weird like downtime, like while they do all the paperwork, you're just like hanging out in the guy's office. And he's like, so you hear about the big chip something? And I was like, oh fucking God, here we go. Like thought he was talking about vaccines for an hour. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. And he's like, yeah. He's like, you're lucky to even get a car. I'm like, oh God, like why? And he's like, yeah, there's these chip shortages, this and that went into that. And I was like, oh, that's actually really interesting. But that makes a lot more sense now why people are, to use your words, doing like nasty things to get their hands on a video game.
That's pretty much how you're gonna get one.
Yeah.
So Dan volunteered to pay an extra $10,000 knowing that the chip was in there.
For sure.
No,
I actually volunteered to give up the chip I got inserted from my vaccine and put it in my PS4. And they said it would just most likely work. Overnight update, and it would work more or less the same.
Well, you were in between deciding whether to get a car or a PS5, weren't you?
Yes.
It was one or the other.
Game time decision. It was like you know, like those KFC Taco Bell combo stores. It was like a Best Buy Hyundai store.
You made the wrong decision.
I certainly got the car. Yeah, for sure.
Definitely made the wrong
decision. Dude, I was real quick. I was at Best Buy this weekend, and I didn't know it until this weekend that this was still a thing. And it's pretty funny. The sign where you go to the video games where there would have been a PS5, there was obviously just like a fake display box, and it said the merchandise that is typically here we are still out of, but we do still carry similar things, essentially like the PS4.
Yeah, like PS4. Yeah.
Yes, very similar.
I went on the Switch search last year, and I'm never doing that again. It's the first time I've ever actually like tried to go to different places looking for stuff. I never do that stuff. I usually just wait. When it pop up, it pops up. But for the Switch, I actually was real excited and antsy to get it.
It was that tough
I'll never do that again. I'll never do that. Yeah, Switch was bad. Switch is really bad last year.
Damn.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But I'll never do that again. It was about a month of me driving around Houston. Houston is not a fun place to drive around because it's an hour everywhere. Like 30 minutes is, you know what I mean? It's not like it's farms everywhere. Shit is just far away. The shit I need is just far away. So I'll never do that again though. And I'm not paying $700 for 800. That's not. Come on, man. You're not gonna play me, man. Come on now.
Man, that's crazy.
Did either of you guys play ESPN NFL 2K5?
Oh yeah,
with T.O.
on the cover. Yeah, I saw that.
That was a solid game.
That was a great series of games. Yeah. NBA, NFL 2Ks were sick. I actually had it for. I think when Dreamcast had a sick football game. I think Peyton Manning was on the cover. I think it was just called like Sega Football or like something shitty like that. But that game was sick. NFL 2Ks were good. The MLB 2Ks were sick too. That was on Dreamcast as well. I think Pedro was on those covers. The NHL games were good. I thought Dreamcast was a great system. Like it's my it's not my favorite. It's probably it's in my top 3 hours. For sure. Like especially when that first came out, it was so different. That was dope. I don't know why you might know, like why did that like crumble so quickly? Couldn't keep up with Sega CD or whatever.
Bootleg. I don't know about around y'all, but around me, it was pretty easy to buy a Dreamcast CD for like $5. So people would just burn this was when we didn't pay for anything.
Right.
See now these companies get a break. We're actually way too lazy to go look for music and movies online, which is still free. We can still do that. We'd rather just pay them to just put it all together for us. We'd rather just do that. So they're actually getting a break, because back in the day, we just downloaded everything for free. So you used to be able to burn the Dreamcast CDs and just like you would do music CDs. People would burn them and you can buy a Dreamcast game for $5, just like a bootleg game. So like I had every Dreamcast game. No, I don't know how they got it. I didn't have a computer back then. We was broke. I didn't have a computer back then. But I knew everybody was buying bootleg CDs.
Yes, I remember
DVDs, etc. But you could buy a Dreamcast game for $5, and it was everywhere in New Orleans. So I'm pretty sure in like other areas it was like this. But
I must have lived in the fucking sticks. Yeah, I never saw any of this.
I certainly overpaid for all my Dreamcast games, but
I never paid for one Dreamcast game in the store. No, Shenmue, because I think I got it when I got the system. The game Shenmue, but I didn't pay for it from the store.
WHOADIE never paid MSRP for a car or a video game.
No. Going right back to what I was saying. Speaking of chips, any thoughts on NBA Media Day so far today? A lot of just good basketball talk today. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, a lot of X's and O's on the timeline.
Yep. Very excited for
I think we need some, as my cat scratches everything inside the thing around me.
What's he think about it?
Yeah, that's actually who I was asking. If you don't mind tilting the camera down.
That was his opinion right there. Fucking scratching.
Scratched his ass.
I think we need to just have these cats talk about basketball and basketball related things, and then their families maybe. We talk about more positive things. But because once we start going a route that we know they don't know, and this is why it's embarrassing, because you have people that don't know what they're talking about. We know you don't know, and you're still saying it. Kuzma with the HIPAA stuff. Just shut up, man. Just like we know it. And it's not like I'm not fucking Doogie Howser over here.
Right.
It's something simple. Everybody should know that. You know what I mean? That's why it's embarrassing stuff.
Yeah, I didn't think it was. I knew there's going to be a lot of talk around this today. I don't think it was going to be as bad as it was. Yeah. Like every time you refresh Twitter, there's a new quote tweet from someone saying something. Someone, giving the weird. Well, I think you talked about online. The Bradley Beal one is weird. Where it was like even his personal story. Hey, I got it. I just simply lost the ability to smell for 6 to 8 weeks. Besides my neurology not working properly, I was fine personally. So
I literally, because we've all been in this entire time. And not one time, I like to read, not like that. But if it's an article, it's just short enough, I'll go through it. Books, I get lost.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't do books either, so I'm with you.
I could do audiobooks. I've never actually looked up the reason why it shuts off the senses.
Yeah.
We just accepted it as a side effect. People accept anything as long as it's still alive. Okay, I lived through it. All right, we good. We can move through it. I've had really bad pneumonia before, but I still had a small sense of taste and smell. This apparently shuts everything off. I've never heard of anything. I watch a lot of Discovery Channel too. That shuts everything off. Like people are eating onions, garlic, with just no reaction at all. Yeah, and I kind of feel like maybe that's the long-term effect and not the.
That sounds terrible.
The sickness. Maybe something bad happens from that part.
Well, even if that's just what it gets to. If someone told me like, hey, there's a really, really transmissible virus going around, worst case scenario, you're just never going to be able to smell or taste ever again.
Yeah, it's not.
Like, yes, I would definitely not want to do that. That sounds awful.
Yeah. It's not fun. It's not fun at all.
The Sheep Code podcast.
But what's weird though is like the Kyrie stuff. I think I said this morning. I don't know. I'm sure you saw. He got like all pissy and defensive. Like, hey, like I'm gonna keep this. Like that's private. Next question. But the guy asked him. He's like, hey, like you're scheduled to not play half of your games. Any thoughts? That's a basketball question. Like, what are we talking about? Like you have people who bought season tickets, and you simply are not allowed. You're literally not allowed to be in the building. And your owner's paying you a contract, a salary, whatever. And he, again, let's keep that private. Next question. Like, what the fuck do you think the next question is going to be? Like, how do your handles look? Like, have you been working on anything new to your game? None of that matters if you can't play anyway. And I was talking to Soapy earlier. I know, like, the other big name one is the Warriors. They can't have non-vax players at home games. I can't imagine there's not going to be other states and cities that incorporate the same thing. So he's going to maybe play a third of his games. I don't like. How far do you see it going? Do you see him squashing this, or do you really?
Absolutely. Of course, first of all, it's too much money on the table. If he's really and truly about what he's really and truly about, you just go on, retire, you can move on with your life. You've made more money doing a simpler thing than anybody could ever imagine, including himself. You're fine, family's fine, everything is great for the rest of your life. If it's that strong, you've already made it. You should just go ahead and retire. I think there's enough. I guess the Boston Celtics fans are just clear. The booing, we could just boo him everywhere now. It's not just when he comes back to Boston. I'll just make sure to travel with Kyrie to boo him in every single fucking arena that he goes to, because from the Satan Master PC that all of Black people's DNA is being stored into.
Yeah.
From this is some crazy shit. Like,
what kind of graphics card do you think that has?
You can't make them no more. You can't fucking make them. So we back on that. So how we going? We can't even get in the Master Satan PC.
Yeah, that's why
the flat Earth stuff was.
Oh, I've already forgot about that.
Like, you can discredit anything anybody ever has to say. About really anything. Like, I don't even want to agree with you like on basic things that I may agree with, because you said something as stupid as that. To me,
that's a good point.
It's just it discredits anything.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
So
like, it knocks down your like baseline of things I can have a conversation about. To your point, you could say something really intelligent, really accurate. It's like, yeah, that's fine, but I have to take this with a grain of salt because you think the Earth is flat and you think you're part of a satanic. I kind of lost track of what he was going on with that one, and that's what I was kind of pissed about too. I was hoping you would talk today, because it's different than having quotes in a Rolling Stone article is different than a human, sitting in front of you saying, hey, like, can you expand on these thoughts? Because I don't think he can do it. I don't think these guys can have a conversation about it. It's an easy, here, print this, whatever, let it go viral. And imagine if there was like an actual, whatever, like doctor, epidemiologist there as well. He can't have that conversation with someone like that. There's no way, because you're just going to look foolish.
Kyrie has had several surgeries. He's had conversations with doctors every season for like the last 7. He's had conversations with the best doctors that the human race has to offer. Correct. He's been in front of them having knee surgeries and replacements and scopes. When he first got to y'all, believe his knee got like infected. That's really bad stuff to go through. I'm sure you have to take antibiotics, a lot of different things like that. I'm sure he can't name or spell or point out I'm sure he wasn't drinking celery juice when it was time to fix those issues. Get the shot and move on, and continue your multi-million-dollar career putting a ball in a hoop.
Yep.
Like this is none of our actual league. That's why we just go to the store and we just grab something off the shelf because we already know it's healthy for us. So I think they should just do that. It's too much money on the line for anything. If actual human rights were being, fuck with here, violent, we would have something with, if actual human rights. These are people that have millions and millions of dollars that don't actually do anything in the public like that anyway. So it's the other 30,000 people in the arena that are actually in trouble.
You didn't hear about Nicki Minaj's cousin? You don't know about that?
I'll send you the cousin's friend's dog's aunt's favorite cousin.
I wish I did know.
I'll send it to you. It's a peer-reviewed journal. I forget. I think it's Leahy Clinic or something like that. But it's a good one. It's 417 pages, but you can just skip to the abstract.
It makes no sense though. Like
I sarcastically said, like, dude, like Tucker Carlson's gonna be on TV talking about Nicki Minaj's cousin's balls. LOL. 2 days later, it was like on Fox News, dude.
They went like 3 days straight.
I was like, oh my God. Like I picture like those right-wing like pre-programmed meetings just coming in like, hey, we're good for 2 weeks. Just slams down like the Nicki Minaj quotes.
Wiggins is about to be Fox King. He's about to be the king of Fox News.
Oh my God.
Because he tried to do a religious exemption.
Exactly. His is like a whole nother. It's weird. Like Kyrie's is like I don't even know how to explain it properly. Like
stupid.
Yeah.
Satan's masterpiece.
That's what I mean. Like a step like above religion, like outside of religion. Like
he's
higher,
like Scientologist.
Yeah, something like that. That's where it's just like, remember when he went live over the summer? Or no, he went live going into like the next season, just like burning incense, listening to like, I don't know, Nat King Cole music and just like quoting random like shit he probably is simultaneously scrolling through on Instagram.
And like year 8. Yeah, he just becomes this.
Very weird.
I remember we hopped in there. We both did. I think.
It was
and the comments were
I'll give him
fucking
that.
Strange.
Oh man. But go ahead, Soap. You had thoughts on Wiggins?
Yeah, a couple things. So
Wiggins, known all perennial pro Andrew Wiggins.
like fuck that guy. He was such a dick in the press conferences. But what I was gonna say is, WHOADIE, do you follow? I think his name is Black Trayvon Edwards, something like that.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, don't, because he's a reporter who apparently he's like maybe he's a Nets reporter or he's a Nets fan. And he was just doing like some crazy mental gymnastics the other day, talking about basically when the Rolling Stone article first came out, he was saying, look at everyone on the timeline overreacting, not waiting for a direct quote from the guy. What's this story about? Quotes coming from his aunt, and everyone's ready to jump on that, but not really giving this guy the like whatever due process or a fair shot to defend himself. And obviously then today the quotes come out and he's like, yeah, well, I just think it's kind of tough to have these conversations with certain people. so I tweeted at the guy once, just calling him an idiot. And like, that's the type of thing that I was seeing the most today that was annoying was the sprinkled in there amid like most people calling him out was the occasional person defending them. And then I saw your tweet, which I think was the funniest one, but also kind of true, which is that maybe shut up and dribble wasn't the worst thing to ever happen.
I'm for a comeback. Laura Ingraham or whoever that was who brought it up.
Yeah, whatever mummy it was. I don't watch this stuff.
Yeah. Points were made.
But yeah, then
Kyrie is talking like nonsensical things. This is not like he has a medical alternative or a medical combative. He's talking like juices and berries. Like he's talking about some other shit. He's talking about like celery and cucumbers and kale juice. That is like he's talking about something that makes no sense at all. Like if there was any valid arguments or anything, like even with political stuff, I don't really get into it because I don't know much. But at least there's two sides that don't make sense, but they're talking about, he's talking about science fiction. Like these are not things to debate to me. We don't discuss science fiction. Wiggins is talking like church. Like none of that makes sense. These dudes, they had the chance to go to college, the best colleges that the United States have to offer for free. And nobody went to class. We know that.
Right.
But like, geez, nobody even tried to sneak into a class. This is not even.
Yeah, even that though, it's like I don't remember learning this shit in college, like you said, but it makes you a more rounded. I think it makes you a more educated person in the sense where I can understand how to validate opinions from certain people. An opinion of a doctor is different than an opinion of Bradley Beal. Like it just is what it is. Just like an opinion of Bradley Beal about basketball, I'd value higher than, my neurologist or, my kid's pediatrician or something like that. It's just a really weird. I was talking to Soapy today and another one of our friends. Over the last 2 years, it's just been like this weird, like a weird flex of people just like flexing on their immune systems and like a vendetta of like, I'm not going to succumb to this virus. Like I picture people like Joe Rogan and like all those guys, like I'm not doing this. I can buy horse medicine and I can be back in 3 days. Oh, and you can do the same. It's that easy.
Let's do Rogan real quick. Let's do Rogan because
go ahead. Get his ass.
He had, first of all, the things he named were things nobody can take in 3 days. Like that's weeks of things. Like he said he had a like an NDA drip, a vitamin drip. That's like IVs. You don't get 3 different IVs and ivermectin and all that within 3 days. So
yeah, good point.
I think he had maybe an IV drip for a total of 3 days between those certain things or something like that. But he named like 8 different things. It sounds to me because I would assume he works out more than all of us combined within a year span. I'm assuming that. And he has access to more things we would have access to. So he's probably healthier than most people, especially his age.
Yeah, sure.
But it sounds like he got his ass kicked for a couple weeks from COVID. And he could have just said that because the things he has access to, NDA drips, those are expensive things. Those are like thousands of, this shit is like $900 per drip. We talking very expensive things. I said per drip. $700, $800, $900. Like, so to just throw those names out for people to just accept, he just took that. That's like $30,000 worth of fucking medical. Like,
well, it's almost like I think Tyler was saying it last week on Fun Report. He was like, I don't even know where to begin if I wanted to buy some ivermectin. Like, what would I even do? I think you just Googled it and like fucking like RiteAid.com. It's not like you can go to like Walgreens and I'm not feeling well. I need like a 2-liter ivermectin, please.
And it's not like ivermectin is something we've heard of our whole lives. And this was like the secret thing we all knew about ivermectin.
Yeah,
you just heard about this too, fucking 2 weeks ago. Like, so which one have you done research on? Like, so
exactly. Very strange. Yeah. Where does that even start anyway? It was like just a note. It just kind of like picked up internet steam.
I thought that it started with. No, I'm thinking of the chlorine thing. I was going to say Trump, but Trump was the chlorine thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Chlorine bleach.
I'm sure it's related. Did you hear? Yeah. Did you guys hear the quotes from? It was Wiggins where they asked him about like what did he feel about the whole thing, and he's like, "Well, I'm just I'm not doing it for personal reasons, and
I'm doing it for others.
Yeah,
doing it for the greater good."
And then they asked him, what are the personal reasons? And he goes, none of your business.
Thanks, Andrew. Yeah. Like, come on, bro. Like,
Andrew
that shit pisses me off. That drives me nuts because you're just showing you're not ready to have this discussion. Like, you need to understand that it's fair to have a follow-up question to that. A simple, what are you talking about? Should be an expected follow-up question. Like, what do you mean?
That's how.
Like, what do you talk? Like, explain yourself.
Exactly. Like, what do you expect people to
what
say?
You're talking about? Like,
you expected everyone to be like, oh, okay, no problem.
Kyrie's background and Wiggins' background, like WHOADIE was saying, it's like I don't know if this analogy is necessarily going to make sense, but if you're like a lawyer in a court case and somehow you're able to use like an excerpt from fucking Space Jam to defend your client, it's like, well, that's not a real world example. That doesn't apply to this. You just you can't. No matter what you say, you're not using constructive information that's respected or anything like that. You're not even in the same realm as us right now.
Unfortunately, let's say if we all worked in Walmart, right? Walmart has a lot of employees, right? Let's say it's like 200 employees in one Walmart. One of those employees is the person that uploads porn online. Like, people go online and watch porn and get there somehow. There's somebody who has a dungeon of terabytes of porn. What I mean is, these are the crazy people.
Yeah. For sure.
These are just the crazy people.
I know.
These are the Lunas, stars, and Mars. They say these are the stars and quasars, the spiritual rocks. These are those people.
But the difference is they have a platform now. Like, it's easy for that person to extrapolate. And if you're already popular, like Kyrie Irving or Joe Rogan or Andrew Wiggins or whatever, it's just like, it's game over. Like, it's just, you're bound to just snowball people who, and like, sports fans are weird. Like, sports fandom is weird where, I don't know if it's a generational thing. I think the three of us are all, I would say, sounds like traditional sports fans where we follow a team, but it's like more popular people just follow players. Like, people buy different LeBron jerseys everywhere he goes, or Carmelo or whatever. I don't know. I guess Kyrie has those fans too. I didn't think Andrew Wiggins did. But like, Kyrie's popular enough where it's like, like, of course I'm going to listen to Kyrie Irving. It's Kyrie Irving. Like, what else am I going to do?
But all that stuff, it's going to show itself. You know what I mean? To me, it's already showing itself. The flat earth, the stars and quasars, all this extra stuff, the burning sage and the, like, and I'm not, people do that. That's a certain part of a culture, and that. Yeah. But don't just become that. Don't become that and force that on us. Like, you always been that. Kareem always been who he was, and he always displayed that. And all these athletes, they're usually very consistent. Even with J.R. Smith. J.R. Smith, it was the same cat. Ronald Test was the same cat. Crazy. But he was the same cat. You can't just kind of flip everything and say, oh, this is me, I'm forcing it on y'all. Yeah. People just have to, kind of get to learn the new you. And Kyrie just went from 0 to 10 because I don't know of any quotes before. Really, LeBron got around Kyrie. Then he left. Then after that, he's been more, talkative. But besides that, it's been all quiet. So good point. If he's always been weird, that's be one thing. But this is it's just stupid. These are the crazy people. That's all.
Imagine if
we all know crazy people.
Imagine if Kyrie, him being with Nike, he drops like a collaboration with Dr. Umar. The Umar 8s.
Umar 8s. Good Lord.
Just He'll like him. Crazy. I had no idea who he was. I see right now still he has a following. Jesus Christ. Once I saw the NBA is a suspect stuff with Kobe, I was like, okay, this dude is just crazy.
Yeah.
The NBA is a suspect. He was dead serious.
Yeah.
Okay, this man is crazy. I have no idea what he said, and I don't need to know what he said after that. But you could just hear crazy stuff and know people crazy, man. It's not hard to really figure out. We know we've been watching Crazy for like 5 years straight now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's entertaining. I'll leave it at this. Like, I'm old enough and autonomous enough to make my own decisions, so it doesn't really affect me. At this point, it's entertaining. It's sad, but it's entertaining.
Oh, it's hilarious. Yeah,
it is.
The world just became like the WWF.
Speaking of WWF, let's transition a little bit because I do want to get your thoughts on this. We can talk virology all night. Go to our Patreon. We have a 7-hour special on there. Dark Side of the Ring. Have you been watching Dark Side of the Ring? Like most of them?
Yeah, I've been watching. I watched all the last season.
Yeah, they're so
good. I've always kept up with it.
So with you, and we really haven't talked much wrestling the couple times you've been on with us, but I know you've talked about with Tyler and stuff like that on his thing. You've been like a pretty consistent wrestling fan, at least like when you were younger and then dropped out a little bit. Do you follow like live wrestling now?
Yeah.
Like Roman Reigns, not now. All that stuff. Yeah.
Wrestling, it's crazy. I was thinking about talking to my uncle about this because my uncle, he got me into wrestling because he's still really into it. But wrestling is probably my favorite thing to watch, probably more than like football and sports.
Yeah.
I remember more moments from that as far as TV than really anything else. And I've just kind of fell off when most other people fell off, kind of around after The Rock and Stone Cold. Most people kind of stuck around for a little bit. The CM Punk, kind of maybe 2008 to 10, 11. Yeah. You maybe, if you've seen it on TV randomly, you would try to watch it. And after that, I just completely fell off. It's just not my style. I'm just not into watching dudes fall into tables over and over all the time. But to me, the most interesting thing about wrestling was when people thought it was real back in the day, 70s, 80s, and all the way into the late 80s. People still thought this was real, and they still, people get stabbed fighting over it. You need a police escort out of the city. Yeah. Like, it was the real deal. Like, so to me, that side of things, when people thought it was real and thought it was a real event, and these cats drove around the country, fucking wrestling, just crazy shit, but they packed house every night. To me, it's just a real interesting, it's just opera. It's just soap opera for men, but it get everybody pumped up. So it's always been cool to me.
I've always, and that's why I like these documentaries. I've always liked, and I never really appreciated it as a kid, obviously, but it's like the lifestyle of a wrestler is just fucking nuts. Like you're on the road 300 days a week. And if you watch like these documentaries or like, know anything about like wrestling, whatever, behind the scenes, like they just binge drink and like down pills every day.
Yes.
And then perform.
Yes.
And that they're also like an immaculate physical
needs to come out more.
Condition. What one? The drugs?
How pretty much everybody was pilled up. Like, they talk about it with a few cats, but it's a lot of dudes. Like,
for sure,
Shawn Michaels, British Bulldog, all of these dudes were like heavily pilled up.
Oh yeah,
and it's crazy.
I mean, this got to be the only way you can comfortably perform. I know now,
like how else do you do that?
Clean now, right?
Every night
have to be.
I don't know, probably.
But they're not working as much, these days.
And they don't look like they used to. They don't like the early 90s, like late 80s. They were like bodybuilders.
Yeah,
like wrestling, dude. Like Ultimate Warrior, like Hulk Hogan. Like those aren't clean, high protein and
that's why it's different now. That's why Adam Cole is probably 5. I went to a show maybe a couple years ago now.
Yeah,
Adam Cole is maybe 5'9", 170. He's one of the most popular wrestlers. He's a good wrestler, but 5'8", he's not 5'9", 5'8", 170. It's not, you know what I mean? It's just not The Rock. It's just not Stone Cold. So it's not as captivating to me, but he's still really good.
Yeah, those were guys, what were they called? Like cruiserweights. Like those opening like pre-match guys back in the day, like while they were like filling the arena. But and the other thing I not keep track of, but like I find interesting, is just how many of these guys die like early, like in their 20s and 30s. Like it's sad. Like if you, like I said, it sounds like we all grew up around like the same era, but you look back at like these guys, they're all dead. Yeah, like Big Boss Man, Mr. Perfect, Macho Man. I mean, Owen Hart was like a little different, but I'm trying to think like big names.
Randy Savage.
It's all things. It's all heart attacks.
All of them. It's all the same thing. Heart attack, overdose,
strokes,
like,
heart attacks. Yeah.
No shit. Like, look at these guys' like health histories, and then the ones that are still alive, they're like Shawn Michaels is fuck. Have you seen Shawn Michaels lately?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like cross-eyed, can barely walk,
unrecognizable,
nightmare. Yeah. Jake the Snake. You saw that documentary? And then I think
the Jake the Snake one.
Dude. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
That was a brutal watch.
War stories, like
for sure.
That was a tough watch. You got to burn the village. Like anybody who knew anything, they need to go like to the desert. Like that was a wild. That's a wild episode. I couldn't.
You need to hang out with Wiggins and get some holy water.
Yeah, no kidding.
They need to get Drowned in holy water. That was, yeah.
And then you look at someone like The Rock, who's somehow gotten more successful, like post-wrestling, which I never thought was possible. Yeah. Stone Cold seems to love his shit together. I'm trying to it's definitely like the people who are normal is definitely the minority. Like those two come to mind. I don't know. Even Vince, have you seen Vince lately? Vince McMahon lately. He looks like a mannequin.
Yeah, but Vince is like 76. I never even thought about it. Like, so that means like 25 years ago, he was getting thrown off a cage at like 55. Like, this man is the one. I'd be crazy right now too.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. That was the other thing, is that all these people are working for the biggest lunatic in the world.
No,
the richest lunatic in the world.
Yeah,
and yeah, that's
the thing. If he's getting busted open and thrown off the cage, and he owns the motherfucker, then who's gonna turn down anything? Yeah. Who can anybody say?
Yeah, that's we talked about Vince a few times. It's like that's the ultimate like lead by example type of like leader.
Did y'all see the video with him and Gronk?
Vince and Gronk?
Yeah.
I don't know. Back when Gronk was wrestling?
When Gronk was wrestling, he did a big bump off of for WrestleMania. And he fell off the commentator thing. It's like maybe 15 feet. And he's up there with Vince. And he's like, Vince, I don't know if I can do this, man. He's like scared. Yeah. And Vince is like, oh, buddy, you can do it. He's like, look, I'll show you. And Vince took the fucking bump right there on the spot. He dropped 15 feet onto the jump pad with his suit on and everything. Yeah. So Gronk was like, oh, fuck. Yeah.
Gronk was like, I don't think I can do that. And Vince just said, you can. I think you can.
Yeah, and he just did it, and Gronk did it right there on the spot. And this is a WrestleMania spot that Gronk was nervous for. And and Vince just did it.
Actually, Gronk, you will.
Also, this isn't a question of yes or no, Gronk. Gronk went from working for Bill Belichick for 15 years to Vince McMahon for 2 years.
Well, okay, so that's
that guy.
That's the other point, is that that's how bad it is that Gronk was like, I think I'd rather go back to football.
Yeah, for sure.
And right back into a ring at that. God damn.
I'd rather. I'm getting CTE one way or the other. I might as well do it with a helmet on.
He was like, it's already sizzling.
Yeah, it's already scrambled eggs. It's actually, you know what? We'll go back to the documentary real quick. Sophie put this in the notes. I think it's worth talking about. Speaking of fucking scrambled eggs, have you watched football this year at all?
Yeah, I watched a little bit.
You're back in? Okay, I love that.
Been watching more baseball. We're going to talk about, I didn't tell y'all.
Okay. I do want to talk about your Panthers, hottest team in the league. But first, like, it's getting bad with just like players getting jacked up on TV, and then like an intern cameraman like going like soap opera type slow-mo like into him and just highlighting it. Devontae Adams had a good one last night. Any quarterback hit is awesome. We talk about a lot, like the replay slow-mo of literally guys just the hits, like when you see their head and helmet like shaking each other, spit fly out, dude. Like a random piece of plastic from their pads just fly off.
It's looking bad out there.
Oh my god! It almost reminds.
I'm sorry, we're talking about Gronk.
Okay. Yeah,
Gronk got hit.
Great example.
He got the shit knocked out of him, and he's way bigger than everybody. So he's been getting, and dude, he got it he's getting tore up.
Yeah,
because you got to give it your best shot because he's gigantic.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It was like guarding Prime Shaq, where like they let a lot of shit go because they're like, well, he's much bigger, so that can't be that bad on him.
Yeah.
And on that hit yesterday, did you see the hit yesterday, WHOADIE, on Gronk?
Yeah.
He got knocked the fuck out.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, well, this is the typical Gronk injury where I'm not blaming him, but usually he's out for a few games every season, like without fail. And then in the second half, he was back. Like they showed him going into the blue tent. And then they left the tent and went back to the locker room. And, he had his helmet off. And it looked like he had that kind of defeated look on his face where it was like, I'm going to be out for a little bit. Yeah. And then first snap of the second half, he was back out there.
Run seam route.
87.
Brady audible to his number. I remember back like when he was on the Patriots. We've talked about this before too. There was one year or like one time where he was so fucked up. Remember like he'd have like 2 full-on leg braces, like a Barry Bonds like arm brace on his left. He could barely like move his neck It would just run around.
Dude, I have no idea how he can move his arm. Because he got the pads. He got a cast on it. He got a brace on it. I know that shit hurt like hell when he hit somebody with it, though.
Oh my God. You'd literally have to, like, he would, and this, I guess it's an ode to Tom Brady, but you have to lodge the ball, like, right in between his arm and elbow for him to catch it.
Yeah, it's like throwing like tight windows. Yeah, throw it into his armpit.
I think it was TJ Ward who hit him, right? Like, but to your, like, what's a 5'11" safety supposed to do when he comes down the scene, dude?
And
you would literally hurl your body at him and hope you trip him up.
And he has the unfortunate position, unlike Derrick Henry, to not be running directly at somebody and face to face with him. He's always in awkward positions. So if people could get at Derrick Henry, how they wanted to, he would be getting the same hits. But I mean, unfortunately, you got to look at him in his eyes, and it's not too fun.
He had one yesterday.
Oh man.
Oh boy. I think it was like a safety came up, tried to be a hero.
It was a linebacker.
Yeah. Like, what are we even doing? Like, just go. Just score.
It was their best linebacker. It was Darius Leonard.
Yeah.
He went like 4 yards. He went flying, man. That looked bad.
Do you guys remember the Adrian Peterson play when he like literally like Liu Kang like drop kicked like a linebacker?
Yeah.
Like in the open field. I don't think it was a flag either. I think it was just like, hey, that's a football move.
I think AB did that to a kicker too once. When he was trying to hurdle someone and then like the kicker came up too high. So AB, like, it looked like he had enough time to deliberately kick him in the face.
Good God. Like, what a
without breaking stride.
Yo, after the Burfict hit, AB, look, there's not a bigger. He didn't do anything before that.
No.
I don't remember anything.
No.
The worst that he
was in the league like 8 years.
Touchdown celebrations where like he would remember that celebration where he would jump and like straddle the upright
goalpost.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's so
I'd get the crowd going. Hell yeah.
But yeah, that was
from that.
Go ahead.
He went from that to the flat top with the blonde Hogan mustache. The next shit, like he had the Fu Manchu
Antonio Brown, brother.
Blonde.
Yeah, that was a weird look.
Yeah,
the blonde mustache thing, with like the mink coat and no shirt, rolling up to his contract negotiation.
And then all right, so we get nothing. He was in the league probably like 8-9 years before the Burfict thing, right? 7?
I think it was like the first half of his career.
First half, right?
Yeah.
Elite receiver, all-time receiver.
Yeah.
Just crazy. He's just one of the crazy ones. This dude is an all-timer. He's just crazy.
He's crazy.
I seen a Fu Manchu with the purple flat top with blue in it. I'm like, okay, he's just crazy then. He's just out of his mind. Nobody gets a blonde mustache.
I think I'm online right now. One of the weirder haircuts was like that weird, like mohawk. Like was still, it wasn't even a mohawk. It was just like a weird rectangle in the middle of his head.
Nino Brown.
Yeah. Look at this dude. Mustache, gold chain. You think Al Davis wanted to give this guy a contract? Are you kidding me?
We'll put that in the show notes because people definitely need to see that picture if they haven't already.
Just Google Antonio Brown.
And then he went to the freezing the skin off of his feet, and then farting in his doctor's face, and then sexual assault accusations. It was like a very linear.
This is all within like a 24-month period. All of that happened, and then he won a Super Bowl last year.
And he won the Super Bowl.
But yeah, I remember that Burfict hit. Couple thoughts. I thought there was like a 10% chance Antonio Brown was dead because that was when he was face down on the field, and you could tell like people. Those are the hits where like most injuries they'll rush out and put you on the cart. That was one that when they're like, I don't know if we can touch this guy. Like this guy might be paralyzed if we touch him.
They just wheel out a casket instead.
Pretty much bury him at the 20-yard line and remove the chains. But the Burfict hit, that was one where in slow motion you saw pieces of plastic like fly off his body, helmet, whatever the fuck it was, his teeth. But those were bad. That dude was a bad guy. Vontaze Burfict. He probably had a handful. Is he like kicked out of the league?
No,
he had big suspensions.
I'm more than sure he's on a roster right now.
Yeah, he's probably on his way to a Pro Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah, he actually leads the league in tackles.
But he's been suspended like 9 times. Easily.
I was going to say, he's out
easily.
Every year there's something.
Well, it was between him and Pac-Man Jones. Like, they were the bad boys.
Yeah.
But truly bad boys.
No,
yeah,
Perfect
was something. Perfect was a different dude.
He's getting getting bad. He's getting really bad suspensions, man. Like,
I picture him being the guys from like what's that movie? Like Any Given Sunday, like those football movies where pre-snap he's just like hollering some crazy shit across the sideline. Like, if you snap that ball, I'm gonna decapitate you.
You know, Goodell was like, Vontez, I know it doesn't specifically say in the rule book you're not allowed to attempt murder on the field, but can we just so we can be all on the same page? You're definitely not allowed to do that.
He's come close. He's come close.
WHOADIE, do you remember the hit on Tom Savage, the quarterback, super tall quarterback for, I think, the Broncos? A couple years ago, he legitimately started seizing on the ground.
Jesus Christ!
Like, it was. Dan, do you remember that?
Sort of. That was pretty creepy.
Yeah, it was by far the scariest and worst hit I've ever seen, because, again, they zoomed in on him. You couldn't see anything else. You saw his face, and he just had that empty, like wide-eyed look. But you could tell he was looking like 400 yards ahead of him, and he didn't see anything. And then he started like his head kind of like convulsed once or twice, and then finally they were like, maybe we should go to the other camera.
Maybe we should go to the other quarterback.
We've seen. I saw one with Case Keenum, and he was with the Rams, I think, and he was out. Like, when they picked him up, he was limp, and he got up somehow, got his wits about him, ran toward the sideline. And then he ran back. They snapped another play with him. I'm like, this dude was just, his whole body was just limp. Yeah. On the field. They just dragged him to the fucking.
He's got the baseball hat on, just throwing on the sideline. Yeah. Ready to go.
And that blue tent is useless, because
I'd love to see what goes on in there.
Whatever's in there.
That blue tent. Yeah.
It's nothing going on in that blue tent.
Nah, it's like a Gatorade cooler. Like, there's nothing that goes on in there.
Celery juice.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my god!
Shot of celery.
They walk you in there and they remind you of your contract and say, "Listen, none of this shit's guaranteed."
Yeah, they show you. It's
you
just
like feed your kids. You better get down there for 3rd and long.
I was gonna say it's a video feed of like your family being held hostage.
It's one kid sitting in there.
Fucking Heath Ledger Joker. Oh, it's such a brutal sport. Because actually, speaking of, I know you and Tyler were talking about Ray Lewis a couple weeks ago. He might be the wildest of them all. Like, on and off the field. Like, there was a very, very blurred line between on field and off field, where it's like, you got it. Like, imagine being like the offensive guard or the slot receiver on the other team, like watching film of Ray Lewis for that week. Like, this guy's literally on trial for double murder, and you're asking me to run a button hook across the middle on this guy.
He's the most terrifying.
Like 3-11. This guy stabs people.
And that's why I was asking that yesterday too. Like, I forget what game I was watching, but it was a quarterback just getting wrecked, right?
Yeah, of course.
What are you supposed to do with your O-line is trash, right? Your O-line is getting beat up.
Yeah. You
getting beat up. But like, it's Aaron Donald in a Dominican suit in front of their face. Like, what you gonna tell them? How can you bitch to them? And they gotta go against Aaron Donald for 60 minutes.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Face to face with him. I got a Honda Aaron Donald for 60 minutes straight. All you gotta do is throw the ball and run from him. I can't run from him.
We gotta drop some quick release plays. Yeah, I think it was Joe Burrow last year. I think he got hurt middle of the season, maybe middle to the late of the season. Yeah, I think by the time he left, he already broke like the record for sacks in the season.
Yeah,
10 games, dude. A 21-year-old kid.
It's changed forever because the Cincinnati Bengals couldn't get him a fucking offensive line for one season.
He's not gonna remember his grandkid's graduation because fucking his rookie year in Cincinnati. Like, oh boy. But
that's who it was yesterday. It was Justin Fields. Justin Fields got sacked 9 times.
Did you see that stat line? Game. He got sacked 9 times for 67 yards.
Dude, they had 47 total yards of offense all day. And then the tweet that was next to it was that Justin Tucker's kick was 20 yards longer than their total output the whole day.
Oh, man.
That was awesome. That was so Detroit Lions football. I love
so if you get sacked 9 times, does your offensive line disagree with what's going on, or is Cleveland Browns just whipping y'all ass, or like the offensive line like Andy Dalton more? Because I remember the Vic days when he was in Philly. I remember thinking the offensive line hated Vic in Philly because Vic was getting killed in Philly, and I felt like it was for no reason. I kind of feel like that with Wentz too. Wentz was getting killed last year with O-line. Yeah, Hurts first couple weeks, he's been elusive. He's more elusive, but he's not getting just sacked every single play.
Yeah, I just think that team stinks. Probably.
Okay, there we go.
I didn't watch the game. He probably held on to the ball. He's a rookie. He's 20 years old. He probably held on to the ball a little long.
Yeah.
After like your 6th sack, you've got to be like, can we maybe like call a double team?
Hey, can we line up a couple runs, please? Once.
No shit, dude. Yeah. And who are they? Oh, they're playing Cleveland. Yeah, you got fucking Myles Garrett. Yeah, that's a tough first game.
It's tough. Yeah, I'm about to say Myles Garrett there. The helmets.
Clowney and Garrett on each edge.
Oh my God.
I'd forfeit. I'd take PTO that day.
Is that Clowney college play like one of the most brutal hits ever?
That's a good one too.
The Clowney play.
Yeah.
Wait, the Browns have
decapitation. Clowney? Yep. Garrett and Clowney on each end. Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough scene out there.
Okay, I'm sorry, Justin Fields. I saw offensive line. Not your fault, man.
Yeah, that's a good point. Let's give him another week. Yeah. So what do you think? Are you back on the Panthers bandwagon?
No.
You have your Sam Darnold jersey?
No, okay. I'm done.
Got you.
Yeah, me and fandom it's 100% done.
No NFL.
I'm not a fan of anything at all.
Okay.
I was just enjoy the game. As the good Lord intended.
So do you watch like NFL Red Zone?
Yes.
With gambling. You must have some. Okay, I was gonna say no one it's a psychopath move to just watch Red Zone to watch.
Yeah, just watch Red Zone. It's crazy. Yeah, I'm just looking for touchdowns and yards and all that. Yeah. I'm doing other stuff. NFL like a background thing when I'm doing something else now. So that's why I like Red Zone.
Okay. Yeah, good point. We kind of digress from Dark Side of the Ring, so let's go back to that real quick. So the Plane Ride from Hell, great title. So you did know about that story going into it? Was that a big story? I never heard of it. That was like a big,
it was like a big. Like I said, I'm always into I'm not into the actual wrestling, but the stories, the little shoot interviews, these other stories. Yeah, that was. I think that happened like early 2000s. So
right, and that was before like he could go viral. Like, how did people know about the story?
I knew about it from the Kurt Hennig, Brock Lesnar fight. I didn't know about it from about everything else. Scott Hall and all that was going on. Ric Flair getting naked. I didn't know all that. But I knew about Brock Lesnar and Kurt Hennig fighting in the plane. And then it was carrying on. I didn't know a Ric Flair got butt ass naked in there.
So who's the wildest boy on the flight?
Probably Brock Lesnar and Kurt Hennig. Because you expect Ric Flair to be Ric Flair. All those cats were like, him being butt ass naked was like normal to them. So I guess it was, it was of course very wrong and disgusting for anybody to get buck naked on a flight and harass a attendant and do everything he was doing. But
pay attention, Liz Soapy. These are good points. Go ahead.
For them, it seemed like it was pretty normal. Like he used to do it all the time.
Right.
So that's probably why it was like, but that's why I think it was Lesnar and Kurt Hennig, because big boys tussling on the plane. It probably takes a lot more push than they were doing to open up a door on the plane. But I would have been scared as hell with primetime Brock Lesnar. He's like 22.
Yeah, that's a good point. A prime Brock.
Yeah, he's
a raw Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, we talking raw Brock Lesnar.
Oh,
right now he's scary. Back then, he didn't even know what he was doing. So
that was like scary. Spiked hair with a little pomade in it. Brock Lesnar. Oh boy. Yeah, that was tough. I'm trying to think. Scott Hall just basically blacked out the whole time. He was like a late bloomer. He was blacked out the whole time. He just woke up looking to get frisky.
In and out of consciousness, harassing. Yeah,
woke up feeling thirsty.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think the way it started was, or like the documentary started, again, we're talking about Dark Side of the Ring, latest episode. The woman, that poor woman, who I'm surprised she even got on the spot. Like, why does she have to do this 20 years later? But the flight attendant, she got on and told her side of the story. When she was like, we went through whatever it was, 4, 5, 6 liquor carts on the tarmac like before the flight took off. I was like, well, what do you think's gonna, like, come on. Like, what do you think's gonna? It goes back to what these guys are all high on pills. They just did a pay-per-view. They either just did Winter Hat the next day, whatever. They're exhausted. It's like a 12-hour flight. Again, you work for Vince, so it's like, we're not postponing the pay-per-view. You're flying this plane, and these people are getting on it, and we're gonna hope for the best. But yeah, that was interesting. Did you have any thought? Did you watch it, Soap?
I did. The Ric Flair thing, when you're talking about him getting naked on the plane, not only was that not surprising, there was one or two of the guys that was interviewed was like, no, we were like cheering and waiting for him to do it because we think it's hilarious. Where they were saying, they're basically like, yeah, he gets naked and he kind of like whips his dick around like meat spin essentially. And they're like, that's like,
they were a little too cool with it.
That's a big part of the movie. That's a main attraction.
Yeah.
Here.
Rick, and you're going to do the thing or what? Come on.
Yeah, is Rick feeling all right? Because we haven't.
What is Rick doing with his pants on?
Apparently, when Ric Flair still to this day gets on public transportation, he just gets wild as fuck. Because you see the picture, right, WHOADIE, of him going down south on that.
Was that actually him?
Nah, it's probably not him, but it's funny to think it is him.
Yeah, I enjoy thinking it is him.
But I was gonna ask WHOADIE, were you still watching wrestling when John Cena, during a live wrestling event, made the announcement that Osama bin Laden had expired?
A permanent end.
I remember this. And Vince McMahon is a very confusing guy. To think that a wrestling show would be the place to announce that Osama bin Laden.
A major historical event.
Yeah.
Live.
We're here to see the Sandman against fucking somebody. I'm here to see somebody get a steel chair cracked on the side of their head. Mm-hmm. Not to hear from a dude in jean shorts that bin Laden is gone. Yeah. Strange guy. It's the most strange. I don't know why it's so strange. Like when you hear all these stories about how Vince sees guys, how he creates guys, and like he may hear something about a guy, and he has this sick sense of humor. So a guy was a dentist, so he made him a dentist as a wrestler. Like the guy, the goon, he played hockey because he was from y'all area. He's like from Massachusetts, so he played hockey. So he made him the goon. He came to the ring with a mask and like, who the fuck is going to watch these things? Like, why do you think you can make stupid characters like this? And they're doing this kind of now to this day, but it just be so childish. But going back to Dark Side of the Ring. Yeah. Those are some wild boys, man. That's a lot going on. 6 carts before. There's some big cats, right? So of course they can go through liquor like it's nothing. But where's the self-control? Because and the thing about the probably why the late 90s was so good, most of these cats were people that were already wrestling in small territories for 20 years before that. Stone Cold, late 90s, early 2000s, he was already in his 40s. He was like 36. These are already grown men. These are not like kids. Scott Hall was in his 40s then. Mr. Perfect was in the only young cats were Brock Lesnar. Right. So for these grown 35, 40-year-old men to be peeled up and acting like this, to me is even crazy because like I said, it's not like, everybody was 20s and they were 20-year-olds. Okay, it's stupid. You're an adult. But 20-year-olds kind of do that. Yep. Not 40-year-olds and 50-year-olds. Like
Flair was already in his 50s.
He must Flair be very old.
It's extremely. Flair's probably like 56.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Like it's a life. Like this is just another night. Like
he's one that he's obviously still alive, but his face and his hair like just doesn't translate too well in 2021. I don't know if you've seen what he looks like now, but it's not great.
Who Flair?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because he was busting himself open in the fucking 80s. So his forehead has been mangled and shifted. His forehead was like that in the 50s. because they, they're slicing each other open, busting each other foreheads open. Yeah, he's gonna look like a damn Goonie or whatever the damn show is. He's gonna look bad.
Yeah.
But for them to expect that in his 50s, like he's 56, but he's gonna whip his meat out for us. It's just like
that's so weird.
This is like 25 years.
That's the weirdest part. Like the guy's like
Rick,
cheering him on.
I'm telling all my friends, do the trick.
Exactly, Brock. You got to see this.
Yeah, trust me, bro. It's worth it.
And they were all very like complimental. Like they all. Tommy Dreamer, I think, was the biggest one. He's like, hey, we'll put it this way. Rick was very well endowed. And they're all just like saying that. It's like, that's so weird. Imagine like going out with your coworkers and just being like, dude, you got to see what like John from accounting does.
Yeah.
He gets naked and whips his dick out at the company outing. You're going to love it.
This guy's got a hammer. You'll want to see it. Trust me.
You'll want to stick around for this.
Don't go to bed just yet.
Man.
You'll want to see this.
Very strange. Man. I'm trying to think, what were some of the other good ones? The Chris Benoit was good. Owen Hart one was good. Chris Benoit one was fucking crazy. Do you see that one?
Yeah, I've seen it. Unfortunately, I've seen that. Yeah, but
man, that was tough.
Yeah, that was super brutal. And then the craziest thing about the Benoit thing was the people who knew him personally. He was the nicest guy they knew. So, and a lot of them get flack for still speaking nice of him. Yeah. But that's all he ever known of him. If you've only ever known the good side of somebody, and then the next thing you know, okay, they've killed every single person in their family. Yeah, I think that's a lot for somebody to deal with. So,
do I have this wrong?
The Benoit stuff is super crazy.
He and Guerrero were friends, or do I have that wrong?
Yeah, they were real good friends.
What it sounded like.
Damn,
they were good friends. And Guerrero, he passed. Yeah, Guerrero died after. First.
I forget. I forget. Maybe. Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah. Because that's why Benoit got all fucked up.
And that's why Benoit got all fucked up. Yeah. So
man, that's tough.
Super dark. Because like I said, everybody always speaks well of him. They say he was just a nice guy. He was a straight up guy, and he goes from that to doing the worst possible fucking thing anybody can do as a man, as a husband. Yeah. The Benoit stuff it's just tragic.
Crippler crossface was a nice move.
Yeah, he was one of my favorite wrestlers. That's why it was
really good wrestler.
It was so surprising. You know what surprising part is? Vince was doing an angle where he was gonna kill himself. Vince did when the limo blew up.
Who did we just talk to about this, Soapy? We were just talking to someone about this. I forgot all about like the timeline of how it added up, how it lined up.
Crazy.
And he basically had to come back and say like, "Yeah, I'm actually not dead. We kind of need to address Chris Benoit killing his family." So gotcha.
Yeah, he blows up in the fake explosion because it's obvious fireworks, and then he shows up the next week in a gray suit. Like,
I mean, Vince is the wildest boy of all time.
Yeah,
he's like the Don Corleone of all these other little wild boys running around. What a weird company.
Yeah,
he must feel like, I'm not gonna say like he has blood on his hands, but like he must like sit back and be like these guys are all fucked up.
Yeah, I don't think
I must have played a part in this.
I don't think he's capable of guilt.
Yeah, I think he's
yeah, that's fair. I wonder how his family feels, like Shane or like Linda. Or
it's
Stephanie.
not. Is it on him?
No, I don't know. Well, I don't know. Like, who knows? Like, what a fucking production. Like, you think about like from like just working a regular job, like what your quarterly check-in meeting is with Vince McMahon.
Yeah,
like, performance review.
Who like it? These people travel every single day to different shows. How can you possibly have control over adults that are on the road 300 days a year, 298 days a year? You can't possibly know everything that they're doing. You know what I mean? Yeah. But he has some blood on his hands for not getting things fixed when he obviously has the money and access to. Even though he has stories in the past where he has gotten things fixed, sending Yokozuna to Duke University to help him lose weight, etc. He did stuff like that too.
He died.
I've said it before,
didn't he? Though.
Yes, because he didn't want to lose the weight. He
weighed 600 pounds.
Yeah. He left the place that they sent him to rehab and lose weight. He just left it. He said he can do it on his own. He couldn't.
I remember real quick, Yokozuna was a wild boy in the 90s.
Yeah. Wow,
remember that move where you would just sit under the ring and he would just fucking sit on you? He'd go to the second row.
Yeah.
We talk about this all the time. Like, I know wrestling is fake. Like I think it should be like, it's fake with an asterisk. Like, a 600-pound man still landed on your chest.
Yeah, it's gonna hurt. Yeah, you're gonna feel that. You're gonna feel it.
I don't know how it doesn't puncture your lungs like upon impact. That's like a car falling on you.
He may be agile. He ain't that goddamn agile. He's jumping backwards.
Yeah, you can only like suck in your ass so much to absorb like the hit. Oh man, because we talked before too about to this day. This is the one I don't know how he pulled off. When like the Dudley boys put Mae Young through a table from the elevated whatever ramp. I said this before to Sophie. It's like that woman was no younger than 70, I would think. 70s
like
or 80s.
74.
Okay. If a 70-year-old woman like falls in her house, you usually have to call like the ambulance. Like, you're gonna break your hip. That woman was power bombed through a table off a 10 feet lift. And was on Tuesday Night SmackDown the next day. Like,
and
was in a fucking neck brace.
Fantastic television.
Oh, it's the best. 8 years old, I was fucking just lit watching that. That was so good.
It's the best.
So terrible in hindsight. The other nights where like Stone Cold would come out and stun Vince McMahon's entire family. Spray his daughter with a hose of milk. The storyline, like Triple H date raped Stephanie and married her in Vegas. Like, this stuff doesn't click when you're younger. You're just like, this is awesome.
When Big Boss Man dragged Big Show's dad's casket through the grave.
Yeah. Say hi to your dead daddy for me.
Why are we watching this on wrestling? What does it have to do with wrestling?
This was on USA at 8:00 p.m. This followed Walker, Texas Ranger on cable television.
Just huge titties every single night, followed with little eyes to see. It's just hilarious, dude. Hilarious.
Just not great.
We should have been watching none of that shit.
No, it's like TV PG. 8 o'clock.
Been watching Reading Rainbow.
Cable. Yeah. No, what's hilarious? This is funny. Maybe our local listeners would get this. I don't know why I remember this, but local cable when I was that age, USA was channel 30 and Nickelodeon was channel 29. So I could literally hit one button and go from Keenan and Kel or something to fucking Monday Night Raw and just see some of the worst shit I've ever seen in my life. And then go talk to it with my friends all day on Tuesday morning. Oh,
my parents hated when I would watch wrestling. Not a fan.
I think so too, because like when my parents got me into it, it was like you said, like not like Bret Hart and stuff. Like the worst thing would be like a violent match. And then they're like, okay, like he makes his decision, he's going to watch this on itself. But I remember my dad would walk in every now and then and just like do a double take. Like the one I talked about, I remember when Rodman and Karl Malone were on WCW. I remember vividly my dad walking in and just seeing Hulk Hogan and Dennis Rodman in the ring. And I thought he was going to have a stroke. Just like, what am I looking at?
Like, what the hell is going on?
And he's just like, the game's changed. Like, this isn't Roddy Piper and Arn Anderson in a Intercontinental Championship anymore. It's fucking Dennis Rodman and Eric Bischoff coming out.
Yeah, because that was like the night before Game 3 of the finals.
Yeah, no shit. Oh man, those were good times.
That's hilarious. Like, if that happened now, that would be the most. We wouldn't be able to not see it. That would be viral everywhere.
Yeah,
like these dudes are not taking the finals serious, especially Karl Malone because they lost it. Oh my god, it's even worse.
Yeah, it's like I'm trying to think. It'd be, I don't know, the summer you see like Seth Rollins and Devin Booker just come out for the tag titles, and then Giannis just descends like Sting from the rafters, and then there's Bud in the front row just doing his stupid ass look. Oh, I wish we need more like sports wrestling crossovers.
Chris Paul tag teaming with Roman Reigns.
Chris Paul and Cliff Paul for the tag team championship.
Trae Young did great out there. He was out there in New York.
I heard about that.
He did great out there. They booed the shit out of him.
Yeah, good call.
They didn't make him like get in the ring though, right? He was kind of just taunting them from.
Nah, he did like a little bump in the ring and everything too. Yeah.
Okay. Did you see Shaq's most recent one? It was a few months back, but
in AEW, yeah, Shaq need to cut it out.
Shaq's been on a few.
Shaq wrestling like Cody Rhodes or something, and
he need to cut that out, man. He need to cut that.
Not a fan.
Hey, not the one he did back in the day with WWE when he had the little thing with the Big Show, him and Big Show going at it. That was competitive and it was fun because it was, it's like maybe 12, 13 years ago, and him and Big Show are the same size. But him fighting Cody Rhodes at 52, whatever Shaq is, I'm not trying to see that shit.
You remember Big Show versus Floyd Mayweather?
Yeah, even that was good. Like
that was just
it was good the way they did it. It's crazy. Floyd Mayweather.
Wait, I don't remember this.
It was
WrestleMania.
Floyd Mayweather was up to his waist. Yeah, it was weird. So I Googled this before I said it because I thought I had a vivid memory of this. Let's go back to WrestleMania 11. The main event featured former NFL linebacker Lawrence Taylor against Bam Bam Bigelow. A match which came as the result of an argument that took place between the two at the 1995 Royal Rumble. Taylor won the match, which led to Bigelow being kicked out of Ted DiBiase's $1 million corporation. Lawrence Taylor headlined a WrestleMania in the mid-90s. Probably literally on crack.
Cracked up to the gills.
I was about to say they probably saw him. We're like, fuck, this guy smokes even more crack than I do.
Lawrence Taylor is so fucking cold.
He's wearing a Bane mask with crack going directly into his respiratory system. Yes,
his finishing move was just like,
look at that earring.
Oh my god!
Oh yeah, guy. Legendary.
This guy was ice cold,
dude. How is he still alive with the amount of crack he smoked? That doesn't make any fucking sense.
Adrenaline.
Yeah, he's thriving off adrenaline.
Yeah, so because it's nothing left.
Did he go to jail for any of his offenses or like allegations?
I don't know.
Because jail? I don't think he went to jail.
I thought wasn't he just a sexual assault at one point?
Known crack user Lawrence Taylor, I think, is like what it alluded to. He might have got caught in some stuff. I don't know. Go ahead, so I know we got to. Yeah, go ahead. Get him out of here.
Yeah, I remember seeing you tweet about it, but I can't remember what you were saying. What do you think of, just now that we're talking about wrestling, the fucking exhibition matches that the Paul brothers are in with Mayweather and shit like that? Like, have you been ordering them, and how do you feel about it?
Well, first of all, I feel disrespected that you would think I would waste my hard-earned money to order that shit. Jesus Christ, no. I won't even watch.
Picture him on the phone. Yes, I'd like to order the Jake Paul fight, please.
Yes.
It's a Visa credit card number.
I won't even stream it. But
I wouldn't even watch it by accident.
I have a hot take. I do think that Jake and Logan Paul are legitimate boxers. I do think they are legitimate fighters, because even though Tyron Woodley kind of proved that he was washed, because there's no way that fight should have been. This is so crazy.
Oh, 2
years ago,
washed.
Tyron Woodley was 2 years ago. Tyron Woodley was like in the ranks with GSP as the greatest welterweight champion in UFC history 2 years ago. And he just lost to Jake Paul in a fake boxing match. That means Tyron Woodley is super washed, but it also means that Jake Paul has a chance. He had a chance, and he stood up there with him. And Logan Paul actually stood with Mayweather. He actually stood with Mayweather and lasted the whole time. So I think they can box. I think they can fight. And nobody that can't actually box, they shouldn't be in there with him. Yeah. Just like Nate Robinson proved. If you haven't been boxing for real, you shouldn't be in there with him, because obviously they have the money to go with real trainers.
Yeah.
And I believe they train with like Freddie Roach and some of these cats. Freddie Roach trains with like Pacquiao. These ain't, they got the access, and they actually did it. It's not Meek Mill, with fish fins hitting a bag. Like, they're really doing it. They're really doing it. So like, whoever get in there, you need to know they're going to beat your ass.
Yeah.
Because Logan went the whole time with Floyd. This is not, it's old Floyd, but it's Floyd. Now he went the entire time. So if whoever going there with them, they need to know to be serious. Or they're gonna knock your ass out.
So you think the fights are legit? You don't think there's anything to like?
No, I think it's legit. I think it's legit.
I didn't even think of that till someone brought it up, but and I thought of it during the Woodley fight because you're right. I was like, this guy's a legit fighter. Like he's gonna kill this kid. I didn't realize he's been that separated from like when he was at his peak, I guess. But
they caught Woodley at the right wash time. He's the perfect amount of washed to have a draw with fucking Logan Paul because this dude beat Darren Till, who is a gigantic person who can fight, and he snuffed him and he choked him out. Robbie Lawler, who just fought, he's beat up legitimate people, and to have to not get knocked out by that dude, to me kind of proves you can actually fight. Like I said, if you can't fight, if you're a basketball player, they're gonna whip your ass in there. They're gonna whip your ass.
How did Nate Robinson even like get into this? Like, where did this come from?
Somebody got to be the sacrificial lamb. Somebody got to think that they can box for 3 or 4 weeks, for 3 or 4 months with some dudes that's been boxing for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Every day. They got nothing else to do.
God, that shit's crazy.
They're rich from YouTube. They got nothing else to do. I'm trying to get that myself. Jeez, I'm jealous.
Yeah.
But they're a different level of rich from YouTube. They, we're talking 50 million from YouTube. They have nothing else to do but to train.
That's a good point. That feels like a weird, like, I don't know, like avenue to get into.
Yeah. How do you arrive at like
a one where you could literally die? Yeah. I should box real boxers to supplement my $50 million annual income from YouTube.
But what else is going to do? Somebody got to find something to feel something. So I guess that's how you feel stuff.
Yeah. And then from Nate Robinson's perspective, it's like, well, I can't, the league is done with me and I still got to get money some way. He's probably still living kind of lavishly or whatever. So I feel like
that was the wrong choice.
Watch Isaiah Thomas do this next. Just completely defeated by no NBA team signing him. That he's like, fuck it. I'm gonna be an even
worse choice.
He boxes Isaiah Thomas from
it's gonna be even worse choice. Well, Nate Robinson boxes Isaiah Thomas. Sign us up, but they get in there with the Paul brothers. They gonna find out because, like I said, these dudes. If you kind of made it, obviously I ever made it, I wouldn't. Y'all be fucking just podcast would be on a boat right now. But if you kind of made it, you got a young age, you got to kind of have a goal. Like you got to have something to do, I guess. And if you have the resources and you put all your forces to that goal, and it's boxing, shit. And it's I mean, like I said, I don't recommend anybody going in there with if you don't know how to fight.
I was gonna say you could get into like gardening or
you could do anything. Get punched in the face is not top of my list.
No, for sure not. Getting punched in the face by professional people who punch others in the face. Yeah, I'm straight with that.
Not even by amateurs that punch people in the face. I wouldn't want no parts there.
What do you think is gonna happen in Wilder Fury? I just realized that's coming up 2 weeks.
2 weeks. I forgot he got pushed back from Jesus.
I'm looking forward to that.
I think Fury wins just because good boxing should always win. But I do understand Wilder has the one punch. It's like he touched him twice in the first fight, and both times he just fell. He only touched him twice, really, and both times he fell. I think Fury wins, but I mean, I'm sorry, Fury, but you got to fight the perfect fight for 12 rounds again. Doing that again it's going to be real hard to do, man. Because like I said, just take one with Wilder, and that's it. Joshua should never fight Wilder.
I just hope that Wilder doesn't come up to the ring with like a heavy ass, ridiculous,
like Triple H in 2005.
Yeah, Jesus like the Christ. Costume. Because remember, he was saying that weighed him down, and he was tired during the fight, which is is valid.
He looks like the mountain from Game of Thrones, like coming down.
He had like runway. 2 real life Darth Vader costumes on.
Put his shoes and gloves on at the ring. I want him coming on as light as possible.
Yeah.
There's no excuses. And then tie his shoes up and then put his gloves on and let him go in there. A heavy costume doesn't. That's the dumbest thing I've heard.
They should bring back those old like WrestleMania. I think it was like WrestleMania like 2 or 3. They had like those mini rings.
Oh, the one that brings you the automatic way.
Man. That was dope. Yeah.
You should have one. You should have
That'd
one.
Be sick. I want like just minimal effort. Just like plop me into the ring. And, I don't want to break a sweat from noon till first bell.
I just remembered when we were talking about brutality with football earlier. Another great example is the post-match fight with UFC or boxing, because usually those guys have fucking birds flying around their head and they don't know where the fuck they are. Like whether it's like a winner or loser. Because I don't know if you guys saw the Wilder interview after Wilder Fury 2. He had no idea what the fuck he was saying.
Yeah.
And all of that fight, Fury had him looking like fucking Bambi, like he was stumbling around the whole time. But yeah, that's another one where it's like, I don't know if I need to see this. Like, no, I just saw him get the shit whipped out of him for fucking 30 minutes.
Like, the last thing I would want to do after a 12-round fight is like talk to a reporter about the same cliche like questions about the fight. Yeah. Like, give me 24 hours. Like, let me go tell my wife I'm okay.
You just check you look at the boxing statistics, and he just got punched 335 times to the head. And 212 times to the body.
Yeah. And through asking, what do you think you could have done different in that one? I don't know, bro.
Yeah, he got punched 350 times and threw 500 other punches.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough one.
For 12 minutes, you're fighting for your life.
Yeah. We'll remember watch when the film and get him next week.
The oldest like white announcer on Showtime like basically was like, Floyd, if I was 50 years younger, I'd whoop your ass. But he said it in the oldest, whitest voice possible.
Was that the guy?
It's like the main guy on Showtime.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
The guy who works with Stephen A.
No.
Who's that guy?
Y'all talking? His name is
Let's see if I can find it real quick.
Didn't Max Kellerman start as like a big boxing guy?
He's really good at commentating.
Right? Yeah, he was pretty good.
He's brilliant boxing. Anything else? I don't need Max Kellerman talking. Yeah. Boxing, he's brilliant.
Yeah, I remember that. I liked him at boxing.
Larry
Teddy
Merchant.
Atlas. That's who I was thinking. I was thinking of Teddy Atlas. That's the guy from ESPN, right?
Yeah.
That guy looks like Rocky at the end of like fucking Rocky 4. All right, we'll let you get going, man. I got to get rolling too. But before we do, thanks for stopping by again. And before we do, where can everyone find you online with your
you can find me.
Oh, and Art of Boar too. My bad. We didn't even mention that. So you got your Art of Boar podcast. You're on a new you're in a new podcast network too.
Yeah. One of my boys, one of my co-workers, he got one with his boy. So
nice.
I figured I would join them. We join each other across the streams. So we just trying to help each other out. He does the editing. That's why if you hit a new editing and everything, he does all that for me. He hooked me up. So nice. So yeah, check me out. Audible podcast. Check out my Twitch.
Yep.
At WHOADIE San, and we're doing a lot of stuff. And come holler at me, yeah. Always Absolutely. A pleasure to stop by and holler at y'all, man. That Larry Merch, fucking mummy right there.
Oh my god, it looks like Regis Philbin's like older cousin.
Fucking Regis and that guy.
If you had a baby with Prince Philip.
Yeah, he's out there. Jeez.
All right, good shit, man. Everyone else, we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Oh.
Peace.